Matthew and Dan here from MiniWarGaming.com, and this is going to be the first in a series of videos in continuation of what you and Dave were doing, where we basically are going over the new 6th edition rules, and we're just creating different circumstances and trying to fabricate things that happen so that we can see how the rules interact with each other. So this is not a battle report, this is more like a mini battle, but it's not necessarily going for balance or anything like that. We're more just trying to highlight some of the rules.
As we learn more rules, understand how to play better, game goes quicker, have more fun. That's what we're all about.
Yep. We're also going to be doing a lot of battle reports this week and next week for 40K. I think we've already put up a bunch. And so you can kind of see how the bigger picture works out. But we're looking at the smaller picture right now. And so in this video, we're going to be covering vehicles, along with some other little things like Rending, Fleet, and some special blast weapons as well. But that's more in consequence of shooting and attacking vehicles. So let's take a look, and then we'll just jump right into it. So very, very straightforward setup. And remember, this is not a battle, so we're not going for fairness in deployment or in anything that we're doing. So no comments on, oh, you're cheating by doing that. It's like, no, we're just going to follow the rules once we get going. And I'll tell you the intent of this one. So first off, Dan, why don't you tell us what you brought?
Alright, I got a battle wagon with a cannon and two, I guess that's a kill cannon, but I'm just using it as a cannon and 2 big shooters upgrade to it.
So those aren't actually orcs, those are just stand-ins for big shooters.
Yeah, they are vehicle upgrades.
Because normally you wouldn't bring those, right?
Normally not.
But now with the new rules, even if you fire your big weapon, you can still snapshot the other ones.
Right.
Or snapfire.
So, yeah, snapshot.
Do snapshots with them.
Yes, do so.
So you don't snapshot them.
You fire them as snapshots.
Yeah.
As
whatever.
So then there's a loot wagon. Oh yeah, death roller.
Of course. You have to have a death roller.
Exactly. Then there's a loot wagon with a boom gun, but also another big shooter as well.
Okay, so let's quickly go over a couple rules. So what is ordnance, first off?
Ordnance.
No, which one of your weapons are ordnance?
Yeah. Ordnance is just a boom gun, actually.
So this one is just a large blast?
This is, you can either do a shoot fire as crack or small blast.
So it's like a missile launcher,
yeah.
The Space Marine missile launcher. So it's either strength 8 AP3 or strength 4 blast.
Right. So basically, if I want to shoot the blast at the jeans tailors, but I can always fire it crack as, a snap fire or snapshot.
Yes, snapshot.
So it's a
snapshot. Okay, and the nice thing is before these wouldn't be able to be fired if you fired a strength 8 weapon.
Right.
Because they're strength 5, and they were not defensive weapons before.
Well, it actually, how it works now is that if you stand still, you can fire all your weapons.
Yeah,
Even if they're... Right, if you move at combat, then you can fire 2 of your weapons.
And the rest can snapshot,
and the rest can snapshot. If you're fast, then if you move combat speed, and you can fire all your weapons like if you're stationary.
And neither of these are fast, right?
No. And then if you move all out, or not all out, cruising speed, if you move up to 12 inches, then you can fire all your weapons at snapshots.
So basically it's almost like the old rules, except wherever it said you can't fire, now you just fire them as snapshots.
Right.
Which is nice. Now the only exception to that is in the shooting phase you can choose to move flat out, which has a different meaning now. You move 6 inches, and you can't fire at all.
Which is good because those people that did like the Power of the Machine Spirit, they're like on one side of the board, they move flat out, maybe over here, and they do like, and shoot you with
I wonder if the Machine Spirit will probably allow them to fire.
The machine will allow them to fire in... No, it wouldn't, because when you move flat out, you cannot fire at all.
Yeah, but the Machine Spirit says that no matter what, you get to fire 1 extra weapon.
I think it was fact, but anyway.
It was that. Okay, I haven't looked at the FAQ for the
I'm
Space
just going by what I read on forums because I don't have Space Marine Codex, or I didn't read the fact.
Yeah.
Because there's too many.
Yeah, we've only read our facts, our FAQs. The Tyranid, Necrons. We'll be seeing some Necrons in some of these games, and of course the Orcs. Okay. Anything else of noteworthiness for 6th edition for your guys right there?
No, and both are going to count as hard cases, which means they're not open topped.
Right. Okay, and then on my side, what I decided to bring, I wanted to try close combat against vehicles, and what better unit to do close combat against vehicles than Jeans Stealers. And because, for one thing, I want to get the Rending special rule in there, and the Rending special rule is pretty much the same as it used to be, that if you in the 2 wounding, so if you're attacking non-vehicles and you roll a 6, then you auto wound and it's AP2. So that before it just said ignored armor saves, but now it says AP2 more specifically. But against vehicles, it's not AP2 because it says on 2 wound rolls of 6, it's AP2, and on armor penetration rolls of 6, you add another D3 to the armor penetration roll. But it does not mention them being AP2.
You don't get that +1.
No, but that's okay because vehicles, the huge change in vehicles, I think, is that they're much, much easier to hit in close combat now.
Oh yeah.
Because if you stay still, they're weapon skill 0, and if you move any distance, they are weapon skill 1. And basically what that means is weapon skill 0, you auto hit in close combat, and weapon skill 1, unless your weapon skill is 1, you're going to be hitting them on 3s. So that's going to be a lot easier. So you can move flat out, and normally I'd have to roll 6s in 5th edition, and now I only have to roll 3s.
Yeah, it's vehicles, if you're getting up close, it's kind of like a suicide run to drop off guys, almost as like a transport. Otherwise, there's no real reason to get close anymore.
Yeah, it's
It's
just
a lot
too
more
easy.
dangerous. Very, very risky.
And then if they're open topped, they still get the +1 on the damage chart if they're open topped?
Yes.
Okay, so, and now AP1 gets +2 on the chart, and AP2 gets +1 on the chart. So what I have on this side for shooting is I've got the heavy venom cannon on the Hive Tyrant, and that's a Strength 9 AP4 blast. The nice thing about blasts is if they partially hit a vehicle, they still do full strength, whereas before it was half strength. AP4 won't make a difference because it's not enough to affect a vehicle. But just alone, the Strength 9 blast being full strength against vehicles is a big deal. And then it shows that it has the Bone Sword and Lash Whip, but I'm going to proxy in it having Twin Link Devours, which are Strength 6. There's basically, I think there's 6 shots, I'll have to double check that. And it's twin linked, and they're AP nothing, which in the old edition meant that you did a -1 on the table, but now it doesn't mention that.
Oh.
So I'm going to double check that when we go to fire them for the first time, but I'm pretty sure they no longer get the -1 to the roll.
A lot more powerful.
Yeah, so now we got 6 shots at Strength 6. Won't be useful against your battle wagon with armor 14, but the armor 11 will be glancing on 5s. And glancing now is actually something.
That's fine.
Yeah, although glancing before on a vehicle that counted on 1 big weapon was a big deal because you do 1 weapon destroyed and it nullifies your
Right. And the other thing of note is that when you get a weapon destroyed, it's a random weapon.
Yes.
So you roll, and so def roll is still a vehicle upgrade. So I have 1, 2, 3 weapons on the battle wagon, and 2 weapons. And so even if you hit, there's only a 50-50 chance of you taking a boom gun, and that's another reason to take that besides the snapshot.
Exactly.
And then there's 4 hull points on the battle wagon and 3 on the looted wagon.
Yes. Exactly. Awesome. All right, so let's get going with this. We've decided that the Tyranids will take first turn so that I can get a shot off, because I think that if you got first turn, I would just die.
Yep.
And we want to show a bit of shooting. Hopefully, it won't go too right. What I want to happen is I want the Hive Tyrant to fire at the looted wagon and at least stun it, just so we can see what that is all about. And the Gene Stealers are going to be moving up. We put this bit of cover here. I'm going to purposely leave some of them out of cover so that he can decide if he wants to do focus fire or not, and we'll talk about that as well. And then hopefully at least 3 or 4 Gene Stealers will survive to get in combat with the battle wagon. If for some reason he gets lucky with his rolling and kills my army, then we'll just throw them back in and actually just do a quick charge to show how it does work. Okay?
Matt, come kill me.
Alright, so turn 1, Tyranids. Alright, so let's start with the Hive Tyrant. I guess this is playing a bunch of War Machine games. You do all your movement first. I was about to do Hive Tyrant, shoot, but no, that's not how it works.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so Hive Tyrant's going to advance, or I mean, it's going to move. Still.
Oh, I was like looking at him. I was like trying to run behind in one of my games. I'm like, oh, I'm behind him now. I was like, wait,
You get a +2
doesn't mean
to
anything
your-
at all.
What?
It's like, he can't shoot me. Oh, yes, he can.
Yeah, he's starting to
He
get
just
rolls
like-
mixed up.
Just, yeah.
Okay, so he moves forward, and then these guys are going to move forward. They're 6 inches.
So you can always pre-measure, which is nice. So you can measure before declaring a charge.
Yeah,
See
I know
if it's
some.
even possible.
I know some people don't like that, but I've always found that when you don't have pre-measuring, then that's one more thing for a new player to master. Like I've gotten really good at guessing distances. Like I've found that I'll guess it and I'll usually be within ½ an inch, but except for really long ones. But that's a skill that it's taken years, and so that's an advantage that I have over new players. And I don't think that's really a necessary advantage. to have in a war game. So pre-measuring, I think, is good. Dark Potential is going to have pre-measuring as well.
And pre-measuring just makes it so you have to, like, it's more tactics instead of luck.
Exactly. Yeah, the more you can take a luck, although then they put in random charge ranges.
Yeah,
So you have to consider that as well.